So, welcome to my video. In this video I am going to try to walk through my simple golden cross indicator using Node.js. So yeah, in this file, basically the main section here is we need to get the history prices from the crypto prices and pass it into our golden cross method, which will tell us when the previous golden crosses happened. So if we go into get past crypto prices method, here we're using CoinGecko to get our history prices basically. So in this function we accept the crypto that you want to look for, the fiat to compare it to, and the time period. These are the default values I've set, but you can change it to whatever you want. So first we set up the client for CoinGecko, and then this is the method you have to call to get your history prices. You pass in your crypto, and we need to pass in an object with the versus currency, which is basically your fiat you want to compare it to, the days, which is the time period you want. So in our case, we just want 1, but you can set it to the others of any other day you want. So you can set it to 200 days time period. This will return a data file object with, and we're only interested in the prices, so we're just taking the prices from that. There's a bunch of other stuff where we don't really need. The prices comes back in a 2D array, so you'll get something like this, where you get is an array of arrays. You get the Unix time and the price. So if we go back to our main file, so once we get past data, we can pass this into our get golden cross function. So this is where the main indicator happens. We're using, to get indicators, we are using technical indicators, a library. We want to export or import the simple moving average, SMA, and the cross up. So we go into the main section, get golden crosses. Here we see we're passing our prices, what we just did a moment ago. We need to separate the prices and the times only. So the first, see this part here, we map through the prices and we extract only the times into its separate array, and we do the same thing for the prices. So the first one, remember, the first element of the 2D array was time, and the second one was the price. Once we only got the prices only in its own array, we can now use the technical indicator utilities function. So we call SMA that we just imported, calculate. We pass in time period we want, so this will be our slow SMA value. So we set 200, we pass in our prices only array, and we do the same thing for the 50, the fast moving average values. We just change it to 50 here. So now we need to get the latest 50 values from the fast moving average, because we need to have the same length arrays to compare. So for example, if our price's length was 250, we had 250 values, when you run through it, calculate it, the 50 will only get come back with 201 values. And for the 200 SMA, we only get 51 values in that array. So in here, there will be like approximately 51 values, and in here, we'll get around 201 values. So to get the latest one, we just pass in our 50 SMA array and the length of the 200 SMA, and all that does is just slice, get a slice of the array, and you make sure you have the minus here, the negative number, because that will get the latest one, latest values. So once we've done that, now we can use the Crosstalk function. This takes in an object. So your first line will be your fast moving average. So it will be the latest 50. And the line B will be your slow moving average. And this function will return an array with false booleans, basically. So whenever the fast one crosses the slow one, it will return a true value. Otherwise, if it didn't, then it will return a false boolean. So for example, if we check here in the documentation for technical indicators, you see this would be our fast moving one, and this one will be our slow moving one. You pass these two in and you'll get something like this, like true, false, true, false, true, false. The trues is when it crosses up, and yeah, so basically this. So once we get our array of crosses, we need to get the index of when those happen, of the trues only. We don't really care about the false values because they either already passed or they haven't passed yet. So we reduce, basically we need this basic JavaScript function to reduce the values only to get the true values. So we need to pick up the index. So whenever it's true, we want to pick up the index of this array. So example, in this one, it will be 1. It will be added, and etc. So once we got the cross indexes, now here we want to map to create our own array of objects. So we get a time using our latest price times. We get the index of it, and we turned the value into ISO string, so we can actually read it instead of Unix time. And we just get the whenever the fast SMA and the slow SMA values are. So if we run our code here, we'll hit refresh. You can see this is the result we get back. So the current price of Bitcoin is 26,000, and the latest, the last golden cross was at this time, 11:14, and with the prices when it actually crossed. You can see the fast moving one is higher than the slower MA one. So if we go into Binance, for example, we will see it crossed in Binance. It crossed at 11:45 when our cross was about 11:15. 15, then 14. It's going to be slightly different because we're using prices from CoinGecko and not from Binance itself. CoinGecko prices are made up of several exchanges and not just one. So the prices might be slightly different. So in this application, it kind of told us when we should have bought, and we could have got all these kind of gains today. That's pretty much it from this video. Thanks for watching, and maybe in the future I'll try to build some other indicators